Dillon's a young quarterback. He's on his first year, and this was his fourth game, in the league. There's a lot that he, still got to learn. But, he comes out here each and every week ready to improve, ready to get better. So, that's all you can ask for as quarterback, and as teammates, we got to lean. You got to have somebody to lean on, and we're here for him.
Nick and JP back on Afternoon Drive. Bill Rabinowitz coming up in 20 minutes. Longtime Ohio State beat reporter. I almost called him the offensive coordinator. He does not coordinate the offense down yonder in Columbus. But it's interesting, as we've talked about, the fury of Browns fans, the fans who saying, not only am I not going to watch you on Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and root against them. It's interesting to hear Jerry Jeudy become a company man for the Cleveland Browns as it relates to Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, it just in Denver, it felt like he was very vocal about everything and all the problems, and maybe this is him turning over a new leaf, I don't know, but it's just the part of this that is so amazing to me. They all feel like they're towing the company line here, and I don't know how that's working. I don't know what voodoo Stefanski and Barry have on them. I don't know what they've been able to pull off, but we took that caller at the end of the 220 segment, talked about how G. Bush on his show today had mentioned how he hears from players all the time that are talking about how play Shedeur and all this other stuff, and all these other people that are coming up with these scenarios. It's like, yeah, they're talking about it, but they're not talking about it to the media, and I find that so fascinating.
Yeah, I think I'm going to call back to Jimmy Haslam at the owners' meetings about 9 months ago, where after the contract extension, Jimmy challenged Myles Garrett to be the not just the highest paid player, but the leader of the Cleveland Browns. I think these guys knew that this season was going to be potential for disaster, and I think they went out of their way to challenge their guys to be leaders, and I think they've kind of gone out of their way of calling Jerry Jeudy a leader. So what did we say yesterday? And this is... It's the idea of somebody putting on airs when you really see their actions, right? Oh, hey, we're accountable. And then I watch a team that does not have accountability because the same mistakes are being made. That's the same thing here. I'm not saying Jerry is lying because I think he thinks he's doing what leaders do, which is right now Kevin Stefanski's behind Dillon Gabriel, which means Jerry Jeudy and the other leaders need to be behind Dillon Gabriel. I'm here to tell you, I do not buy for a second. And Jerry shorted him a game. He's had 5 starts.
Yeah.
He's 6 appearances. Because remember, his first appearance was a Ravens game.
Yeah.
So we're going on start number 6 here. So I don't believe that a locker room full of guys who know they might be down to the last 8 games of the NFL or their last game in the NFL, I don't buy for a second that this act of, hey, that's our quarterback. I don't buy it for a damn second. I just think this is guys, and I want to give them credit. I think it's guys trying to do right by their head coach and by their teammates, which means they are lying.
Well, it is an interesting combination. So you mentioned Jerry Jeudy being an actual leader, and that would track in many ways. But what is it, 13 different rookies on this team? It's a very young team in general. Between first and second year players, they just have a ton of them. I was thinking about it for next year. Next year, we're probably gonna have 25 different first and second year players. It's going to be incredibly young, all things considered. But those guys tend not to speak out. Those guys tend to just kind of fall in line. But I'll give Stefanski and Barry credit in a team full of people that historically would speak out about how disastrous this is going. There's not much of that happening right now.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know we've had Lima come out over the last couple days, and it's really been a couple weeks that he's been pushing this narrative of where are the people calling for Shedeur Sanders? Where's the guys in the locker room saying that to the media? And the thing I will say is, to go back to giving credit to Stefanski and Barry, I think they know with Jimmy Haslam, Jimmy really reacts to the optics of situations. And the optics are fueled by what comes out of your locker room and what gets reported by various leaks in the organization. Mm-hmm. I think they've done a tremendous job cracking down leaks. And I think they know there's a chance that if you just, hey, we're logicking this. This is the plan, and this is how we've been doing it. And this is, and all the stuff that irritates us about Kevin, I think they know that's their only chance to keep their job going into year 7. So the same thing, by the way, goes with Shedeur. It's so the organization that we didn't find out Andy Dickerson had basically been, and you made this point yesterday, and it's been stuck in my head ever since.
Yeah.
We didn't find out Andy Dickerson was no longer the O-line coach. And I'm talking about the Browns beat did not find that out, or at least report on it until well after it actually happened, and we found out because of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
So that would stand to reason that any Shedeur sympathizers aren't going to get out there either way, because they'll just cut you or they'll just move on from you if you do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought a lot about it over the past couple of days, because my initial thought, Nick, really truly was that maybe the guys just aren't that impressed with Shedeur in practice, not because he's not impressive, but more they don't get to see him that often. That honestly, that's truth. That was just my initial thought of it, because for the longest time he was on one other field that they used. They used two fields. He was on the other field throwing to ball boys, essentially, and practice squad guys. So where would the starters even see that? And then if we're supposed to believe in the starter and backup quarterback hierarchy the way that we are right now, well, Dillon Gabriel is getting all the snaps. When would Shedeur Sanders ever impress any of his teammates? And so, like, my initial thought was that he can't be impressing these guys because he's not actually doing much in the practices while throwing to these guys. That's all going to Dillon Gabriel at this point. But I just got to go back to logic on this one. Logic would tell me in 53 players in that locker room, watching Dillon Gabriel be one of the worst quarterbacks in the sport, there is no way that they're all just cool with Dillon Gabriel being the starter. There's zero chance. Just use logic. Use your head.
And I think this is where when an organization either doesn't tell you the truth, and they don't owe you the truth, right? I think it's silly that you would lie, but again, they're trying to perpetuate their careers. They're trying to perpetuate their narratives. I understand the game they're playing. I don't think it's the best thing in a town where everybody pays attention to what you say, and everyone here has a brain and can point out, well, this is what they say, and then this is what happens. But again, they don't owe you anything. That's fine. You want to do your narratives. But whether they tell you the truth or whether they just say nothing, then you have to look at, okay, what's happening? And so they can say, Dillon's made. I mean, Dillon's really grown. Show me it. Because he just went up against one of the 5 worst defenses in the NFL, and I believe he had about 150 yards passing, and his situational football was crap.
Well, so the other response to this then would be, well, Shedeur must look really bad then. If Dillon looks this bad, then Shedeur must look really, really bad, and that's what the players are hiding. And this is where I'd go back to the idea of, in what reps are players even seeing that he's looking bad?
Yeah.
Like, where's the evidence that any of these players get to watch him do anything in these practices outside of basically just sitting back of Dillon Gabriel? Because that's, again, 100% of the reps go to Dillon Gabriel. So where are they seeing this bad Shedeur Sanders?
And here's the thing. The team was saying Dillon was playing well in camp when everyone in the media was there saying Dillon looks really, really bad.
And that's part of why I have so much disdain and I'm so irritated by all this, Nick.
Well, but remember,
we saw it.
The team was also saying Shedeur's got a long way to go. Shedeur's not meeting expectations, and then everything we saw with Shedeur was positive until the Rams game.
You guys made Daryl Ryder seem as if he was just an angry human. Now, Daryl might be an angry human, okay?
But you guys made him seem like he
was an angry human that was inefficient at his job for speaking about what he spoke about with Dillon Gabriel. And then what happened, Nick? We went to these practices. We watched with our own 2 eyes. We interviewed Bernie as 7 straight incompletions happened off the hand of Dillon Gabriel. 7 straight. We basically stopped the interview being like, are you seeing what's happening here, Bernie? Are you seeing what's happening in front of our eyes?
Who's the nicest man in the world.
He was deep in convo.
Still thoughts and prayers to our guy Bernie. Get well, buddy. But Bernie was like, yeah, this isn't good.
I mean, he was amazing. Like, we're trying to do this interview, and it's just incompletion after incompletion after incompletion. Meanwhile, anytime we saw Shedeur, it was completion after completion after completion. Like you can only do so much in that setting. But it's just wild to me how everything was confirmed with Dillon when we were there.
And I think when it comes to Dillon, Shedeur, or anything, listen to what they're saying. And then I want the casual fan out there, right? The fan who might not have lost trust in Stefanski, who still think these guys are pointing this thing in the right direction. Listen to what they say, and listen to them talk about how Dillon is progressing and how good Dillon's looked, and he's a young quarterback, and this, that, and the other. And then I want you to put it up against what you see, and then you have to take that and then put it over with what's being reported or not reported about Shedeur.
Meanwhile, on top of this, Nick, again, because Shedeur is clearly so far, he says sarcastically, so far away from ever being able to see a football field.
He's making his sarcastic face.
These are my sarcastic hands. These are my sarcastic face. But he's so far away from seeing the field. yet he's the backup quarterback. So he's like he's so incompetent and so far away from being the guy that you could trust to actually start a game. But if Dillon Gabriel, I don't know, stubs his great toe, shout out Darius Garland, all of a sudden, guess who's in that game?
It's a DG thing.
Guess it's a DG. Guess who's in that game though? It's then Shedeur Sanders. So like tell me what's real. Is he so far away and is so whatever, but you still trust him to be the backup quarterback and one play away at all time? You see how maddening this gets?
Yeah, and can we also say
makes no sense?
I've also heard for the first time, Mary Kay said it on with the Morning Boys. Our guy Spencer German said it on his podcast. I've seen other people's. I've got a tweet. I got a text about this from somebody who isn't one of those two people. A lot of people have said, if Dillon doesn't look good on Sunday, there's a chance Shedeur goes in for him. A lot of people have said it, and they've all said it at the same time. Again, they will say this thing to your face, and then you hear the truth through the leaves. Or you have to find it out for yourself, like watching Dillon Gabriel suck after they're like, oh, we're seeing a lot of progress from this kid.
Oh, hey, when Shedeur does go in, then it'll all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, he's been ready for a while now. The same people that will tell you that the Browns right now think he's miles away. It's like, all right, guys, what are we doing here?